So good morning everybody. This is probably going to be a really short one, I'm afraid. I was up this morning at 4:30, made the trip all the way to the Langdales to photograph the Langdale Pikes with some beautiful sunshine on it. The forecast last night was perfect for some really high cloud, for some great conditions. So I've made the trip. It took me about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes to get here, and I actually did underestimate the time it would take me to get from the car to where I am now. So when I got here, it was a bit frantic when the pre-dawn light was sort of setting on fire. The sky was beautiful for a very, very short period of time, and I grabbed a shot. I'm hopeful that the sun will break through. There's a lot of thick stuff on the horizon at the moment, and the shot that I really wanted this morning is a shot of the sunlight catching the mountain tops and the beautiful glaciated valley to the left, and the crinkled crags over to the far left there, and I think it's I can't remember the name of it now. Put it up on screen, I should know that, but yeah, that's the shot I'm really coming for this morning, but I'm not so sure it's going to happen. Just got to wait. So we're starting to get some light now on the crinkled crags. So for those of you that are interested in kit, I will just quickly tell you what I've got on the settings. I've currently got a 45 to 85mm lens. It's set at the 45mm end. I've got a Lee 0.6 neutral density hard graduated filter just to hold back the sky. I've got the nodal rail just to make sure that the nodal point is centered over the point where the lens pivots as it goes through the panoramic, just to get rid of any distortion. And yeah, this is the Pentax 645 medium format camera. In terms of settings, I'm on f11. I don't need a lot of depth of field, and each shot is going to be at 1/5 of a second. So here we go, the first one. Just getting some nice light on the top of the crinkled crags there now, so well worth shooting. I'm underexposing ever so slightly. This camera's got a lot of dynamic range, and I really want to make sure that I get the highlights. The shadows don't need to worry about. This camera will pull them out. So overlapping each shot by about 60%. The camera's currently on mirror lockup, so there's no camera shake each time I press the shutter button. Moving through the image now, getting some light on the Langdale Pikes as well, looking quite nice. The haze is a bit of a problem. There's quite a lot of haze this morning. Sadly, in that valley, it's hanging quite thickly, and it's not hanging nicely. It's sort of spread itself over the whole valley, so it's not overly appealing. That's probably about 8 shots. What I'll probably do is I'll crop that down. I won't have the whole 8 shots in. I'll probably lose about 50% of that when I actually do it in post-processing, but that's not a bad starter. I've taken that now. I think it might get better, but I wanted to grab that while there is just a little bit of light on the peaks before it goes. It might get better, it might get worse. We'll just give it another 10-15 minutes and see what happens. So it's 40 minutes after sunrise, and I think I'm going to call it a day. But before I go, I just wanted to talk about my thought processes with creating images. Many of you may well be sitting there now thinking, why is he not going on to take some other photographs in the Lake Districts? Well, for me, it's all about quality of the image over quantity, and I don't think, given the light for the rest of the day, I'm not going to get anything that's really worthwhile as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the Lake Districts is a beautiful place to come, but for photography, for me, it's all about creating art, and if I'm not going to get that wonderful image that I've been desperately trying to create for many, many months and sometimes years, then I'd rather walk away and come back on another occasion. And whilst that might sound frustrating, to some of you, this is why I love it. I love the challenge of trying to create what I've seen in my mind's eye based on a composition that I've found. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to put the two images on now, and then we'll talk about them back at the PC. So that was a really short film, and I do apologise for that. The reason that it was so short is that I'd gone out with a view to proving a point. The weather forecast the night before was absolutely perfect. It was given 100% high cloud. Now that's absolutely superb for landscape photography. And then following that, there was going to be some lovely sunny conditions. So I went out with the view to shooting something, the Langdale Parks, that I've wanted to shoot in those conditions for quite some time. My ideal would be to shoot them in snow, but the pre-dawn light was something that I really wanted to capture. And the point I wanted to prove is that I've always struggled with my Canon. I have a Canon 1DX that I used to use before the Pentax 645Z, and I always struggled with vegetation in terms of getting the foreground vegetation, grasses, shrubs, scrub, anything like that, to look natural in pre-dawn light conditions. They always look very, very muddy, and I struggled to get anything that looked natural in Lightroom or Photoshop afterwards. So I've just avoided shots like that, like the plague. What I normally go for in pre-dawn light conditions is reflective surfaces such as a lake, frost-covered fields, snow, anything like that. Even a light-coloured sand on a beach is perfect for pre-dawn light conditions. So I came here to the Langdale Parks knowing full well that the fields are just grassy meadows and that I would struggle, and that was the point of the video, and I was going to prove that, but I'm completely wrong. I've got to hold my hands up. It didn't work out that way. The Pentax has pulled such a lot of quality out of the grasses that I've nothing to complain about. It's perfect. So I'm going to put the pictures on now and just briefly talk through the two pictures that I got that particular morning. So this is the first one in pre-dawn light conditions, and you can see clearly that the fields look absolutely fine. And I think the main reason for that is, yeah, the Pentax is so much newer than the Canon 1DX I'm using. The Canon 1DX was brought out in 2011, so it's quite an old sensor. It's only around 20 megapixels. The Pentax is 50, so there's a big difference in quality there straight away. But these fields look exactly as I saw them on the day. We have got a bit more reflected surfaces. That if you look in the fields towards where the valley is at the back end there, you'll see that the fields are quite light in colour, and there's some lighter patches there. Now, obviously, at first I was thinking that's the reason why this has worked, but equally there's a lot of dark areas too that still look quite natural. So I have to say that my problems with pre-dawn light and foregrounds appear to be no more. And if I've said that to anybody with new cameras, I apologise, because I may have been wrong, and it just might well have been the old technology that I was using. So here we have, like I said, the beautiful Langdale Pikes. We got Bowfell in the background. I couldn't remember that on the morning. I couldn't remember the name of it. Crinkle Crags is just off to the left-hand side there. The one problem I did have on the morning was haze, and I have actually watched another couple of videos that were made that very same weekend on YouTube, and it seems that everybody struggled with it. I've managed to get rid of quite a lot of it in Lightroom, but it still persists at the back end of the valley there. Now the problem is that if you try to get rid of too much of it, going to 100%, you will start to lose detail. And as you can see at the back there, it's starting to go, so I don't want to push it any further. Obviously, if there's no detail there in the first place because of the haze, there's nothing to get out of it, so you can only remove so much. And I've managed to remove quite a lot of it in the foreground areas and on the mountain itself, and it looks absolutely fine. I'm really suited with that photograph. It's a very nice image. So that was taken just literally about 10 minutes before the sun comes up, before the sun came up, and there was this lovely pre-dawn light, absolutely exactly what the weather forecast had given. And you got the high clouds there just catching the early morning sunshine, just stunning. So pleased with that. So moving on from that, a little later on, probably another 15 minutes, the sun actually rose temporarily into some cloud and then it came out again. So I was just about to give up, but we managed to get some light just catching on the tops of Bow Fell, and that light was also just catching the very summit of the Langdale Pikes there, and you can see it just along the top of the knoll there. So again, another beautiful picture. We've lost the pre-dawn light in the clouds. They've gone a lot more moody looking, but this picture, for me, I actually don't like it quite as much. It's got its merits, but I do prefer the other one now that I can get that light in those conditions with that foreground. It's quite a revelation for me, to be honest. But this one again, as you can see in the distance, just move that over. As the light came up, it would seem that haze got even worse, and I pulled just about as much as I can out of it before it starts to really suffer the image quality. You can start to see that it is going a little bit there in the blue areas, but overall, when you look at the actual mountain itself, stunningly sharp, and that haze, I've been able to get rid of it sufficiently enough to get a decent image from it. But overall, a beautiful panorama. I've cropped them both down to 6:17. It really suits the composition really suits that format. So yeah, two really nice images. And just out of interest, these images, when they've been stitched together, they're actually 6 feet in length. So that is really quite something. So that just about sums this up. It's a bit of a confession video, yeah. What do I know? But that's the trouble. You can only use the cameras you've got, and the 1DX has served me very, very well for a long period of time. And I was just getting to a point where I felt like it was lagging behind. It wasn't giving me what I needed, especially in the dynamic range department. But the Pentax has that in abundance. It's a wonderful camera, and I do like it. Just the weight is a bit of a problem. So that's the end of the film. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will say that there is a new opportunity on my website for people that want to, that can't come on one-to-ones because of distance. Maybe they're overseas, but do want a bit of help talking through images that they've taken themselves. On the website, I've got a little section called Photography on Demand, and the price, I think, is £25 for 1 hour. So you can buy that. It's like a little token, and we can connect on Skype, and we can look at your images, and we can share screens, and we can talk through them together. And if you want a little bit of help on processing, I can do that too. So that's a new opportunity for people to take advantage of if you so want it. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say please subscribe as always if you like the content. Leave some comments below and ring the bell for those notifications. So until next time, bye for now.